Hey yo, what's up? You know it is the one and only Triple the G.O.D, and of course welcome back to your other favorite YouTube show, Triple the God Explains It All, you know, the show where I explain stuff to you or something. But yeah, welcome back to Kamen Super Climax, everybody. And no, I haven't forgotten about this game. And anyway, I just want you to understand, if game is number one dope man, is that I understand that you have to make sure that you don't burn the folks out on too much crack at one time. You know, I gave y'all a hit for that whole week and a half to let y'all know how awesome this game was, but then I figured out that, you know, that I just wanted to, you know, spread it out and always being able to have some kind of content for you guys to watch. But, you know, this, however, is a little bit different for multiple reasons, which I'll explain right now. This, of course, is another viewer's requested choice primer by my boy Shaw Webb. Shout out to him. That, yo, I appreciate the work you putting in the gas for it. I appreciate that you have actually given this game a chance, and I feel good about that. I feel very responsible that you were awesome enough to give this game a chance. So, you know, applause for me. But, you know, also the thing is that when I was taking requests in the first place, he lined up a list of characters for me, but he told me, yo, take a look at some of them for me, you know, and then come back later when you have some time. Guess what? I have time now. So, for you, buddy, for you, today we are taking a look at he who seeks perfect harmony but the force of shadow, Kamen Rider TheBee. Yeah, that. Now, when it comes to Kamen Rider TheBee and trying to do this primer without spoiling one of the most awesome toku shows ever, that being Kamen Rider Kabuto, and if you ain't watched this shit, what is you doing? Is that there have been multiple users of the B vector, and what was cool that Aiden did is that there are two different versions of the B. This B is the one we're going to be taking a look at, and here's another one we won't be taking a look at right now, but at some point in the future, you never know when it could be, but it's gonna happen, dog. Is that the difference is between the two B's is that other than they are different people, which is the no-duh, kind of like the G.O.D Date thing, is that they function differently, and defining functionally differently is that they are two different styles of characters, and while they share, you know, some normals and some specials, that in most cases they have different hit properties and such, and that's really, you know, where it begins and ends. But once I break them both down and you can look at them in a very comparative scope, is that then you'll understand. So that. And, you know, since I don't feel like scrolling, you know, across the screen or whatever, I guess, you know, kick hopper. Stage, because of how well I know Kabuto and how this all makes sense for people who've actually watched it, a church. Yeah, it's a symbolic thing to the character. Trust me, I got this on the lockdown. Don't worry about it or something. I don't know. Super meter. Yeah, you know, we should do that. And welcome to another primer inside of a primer inside of a primer, because this version of the B is our first summon style character. This is important for some reason. We'll get into it. Maybe not. My bet's on maybe. My money is on maybe. We'll take a look at that. But seriously, you guys, yes, that the B is that this version of the B is our first summon style character. And with that being said, is that there is a lot to understand about summons. Is that let's take a history lesson about summons in this series. Thanks to the Honore G.O.D guy, yeah, the first two games summons were broke as hell. And I mean broke as hell as in, you know, you shouldn't be able to do that with Deadliner, dog, or with the Fire Blaster, but you can anyway. I don't know. It was just dirty. G.O.D had all those different summons. He was just a dirty character. And the reason why D.K. was such a dirty character was because he had way too many options. Now, there's giving a character options, and then there's Decade in the first two Climax of those games. Those are not options. That's a war chest of things I can do to you at will. Or something. Okay, maybe I'm over dramatizing it a little bit, but Decade was just that nasty. But over time, some engaged characters, you know, came around, and then they nerfed the shit out of Denliner. So there was that too. So here we are now, and it's that the one thing that I do just want to lay out about basically about some engaged characters in this game is that they have an additional line of defense, which is pretty awesome, which we're going to get into when we cover the Some Engage. So I just want you to know that information. So I got you. Don't worry about it. It is what it is with that. So with all of that being said about Honore Decado and the Spy Blaster and Broken Ass Deadliner, let's get to work, everybody. Alrighty, where do we always start? Oh yeah, the mobile art. It's the guard dash. You guys remember this, don't you? You know, I can stop projectiles, but you know, if you do a physical attack, it's going to stop or something. Yeah, that's the guard dash. Yeah, it's the guard dash. Rider art. The clock up dash, or you know, or just an actual dash, but it is a clock up dash. Pretty much is that this thing is to be used and not abused, but you can abuse it to get out of situations you can't normally. It's like what I will dedicate to the old game is that if you were blocking and then you did a side step, which you can do in this game, but it's a lot harder to do so, is that you can block and then, you know, you can get away from most stuff. That if you see a normal coming at you and you have half a meter and you can stop it, you get right back on offense and you can do whatever the hell you want. But again, you know what I'm saying, if your opponent sees it coming and you abuse it too much, there are things that can completely stop a clock up dash, and it is trash, just so you know. What else we got, dog? Oh yeah, you know, special time, folks. B, if you wouldn't mind, sir, would you demonstrate for the folks at home your neutral special, please? Yeah, that. The rider's thing. One more time. Yeah, the rider's thing. And as you see, the rider's thing is that is a nice, healthy crumple stun in which you can do whatever the hell you want off of it because it is a crumple stun in this game. Hooray! Moving right along, your left or right special, please. This wonderful combo punch. And as we're going to get into later, which is something that you guys need to start practicing, is that when you have the option of doing a left or right combo, which would actually be, in this case, which I need to describe it, is toward and away, always hold away from your opponent. And there's a reason why, and we're going to get into it later, but I just want to just lay that foundation right now, is that hold away from your opponent. It's going to come in handy. Trust me on that. And up and down special? Clock up, folks. Yeah. This is OG clock up. This is not, you know, new school clock up where, you know, where I can ride a cancel out of it. It works just the same as it did in older games where you had to have a full super gauge to use it, and it had a bit of startup and you can't ride a cancel out of it. But as we're going to take a look with B later, because he is a Some Engage character, if he would have had both options to not only clock up using a rider cancel, using less meters, and being able to summon, I could probably guarantee you this version of the B would be the most broken. He would be, okay, I don't want to scream avenues, you know, I don't want to scream, you know, pet shop, even though people should never scream pet shop, because not every pet shop matchup in JoJo's is a 9-1, you dick. Excuse me. However, is that if he would have had those options, he probably would be the best character. He would probably be up there with characters like Climax Heroes and Climax Heroes Double Decade as an option of way to wheel offense. And then imagining the possibility of him combining this together with a summon and a clock up, which you can't do, which probably, if this was a couple of games ago, was probably something that would have slipped past aiding and something you could have done. So, this is not as broken as it used to be. It still suffers from the same defensive ways you can stop it, either being hit out of it or doing a rider burst during it, which would completely snuff it. And in B's case, you don't want that. You don't want that, because especially in his case, is that if he gets snuffed out of it, you know, that's 4 meters gone. With a character who is a time stop character who can do clock up or, you know, excel with 5s or things like that, is that because they can activate it using less meter, it's a less of a trial for them, you know, to understand that, yo, if I get rider buzzard on it, I only lost 2 meters. But if you invest at 4, you gonna be upset. Alrighty, moving right along. Let's go ahead and let's get into these specials, folks. Not these specials, we just looked at specials and, talking about specials. Jumping rider sting doesn't do anything. I just wanted to make sure that we get it on tape that it does hit. Is that, yeah, it be going down and you can do it real low. You can't do, you know, that old punch hopper tech I showed you guys back in old. You can't do that here. You know, can't do that, so it's not going down on me. Alrighty, let's go ahead and let's get into these, what are these? Oh yeah, normals and strength. Jumping light, jumping heavy. You can't go wrong with either, even though, you know, jumping heavy does a tinge more damage. But jumping light is a little bit easier, and as we'll take a look at the end of the video about elongated combos and such, is that either or is fine, but you know, I would definitely suggest learning to use the jumping heavy in your combos that, you know, start with a jump normal or something to that degree. Okay, take a breath. Strings, please. The light string. This is probably, in my view, probably the best string. For the simple fact is that it does not knock down. However, because, you know, you don't have any stun where, you know, where it's like, I'm stunned for days. Please, you know, please hit me with a rider finale. You know, please do this and please do that to me. He doesn't have any strings like that, as we're going to see, but he has a lot of strings where he can do some very diversified work, you know, combined with some awesome rider cancels. But this, when you're trying to build combos to start, this should be your litmus and understanding that, yeah, you want to practice this before you do that. There is, in the elongated combos, again, as we'll see, is that there is a way to substitute this for a whole different set of moves which does a bit more damage, but you know, building blocks here, children, building blocks, they're important or something. What we got next? We have the light to heavy string. See, you know, knock down and such. Off the third, you can do a rider cancel and all that stuff like that. It does actually hit, you know, when it wants to, but you know, you gotta remember, you gotta make sure that you have that you do that rider cancel ASAP, because not only do you get that meter back, because the meter is always important, but that you're able to cancel out of that animation as soon as it hits, so that you can get right back into the system. And what we got next? We have the left or right light string. I like this string too, is that, you know, that third hit, you know what I'm saying, you can do some good work off of it. If you rider cancel early enough, you can do, I think, I'm trying to think, I know it's something, because I've in my notes, there's something that I know I can do off of it, but, you know what I'm saying, it's like one of those strings that, you know, that sometimes, you know, if the game's feeling nice, you can rider cancel and then do a jump cancel combo for me, and most of the time the game is like, you know, you're not supposed to do that, so we're not gonna let you. So there's that. Moving right along, we have the left and right light to heavy string, and you know, as you see, that second is a popper, so you know what that means. Awesome jump cancel fun. Now, here's something that, you know, that I alluded to earlier that we're going to talk about now, because when I took my notes on the beat, it's like the heavens opened up and it showed me the way of the light. Is that I have been doing jump cancel combos wrong, and this probably would have served useful when I first was taking a look at Wizard, but you know, better late than learning this than never. And like I told you guys when we took a look at B's combo punch, is that you need to get used to holding away from your opponent when you do combos that have that option, except in the case of anything that starts with a heavy, because we know what happens when you press back and heavy, you throw your opponent, so there is that. But I'm just going to show you an example. This is going to be a jump cancel combo when you're holding forward on a relaunch, because we do have that option. As you see, nothing came out. He completely went behind his opponent and started his string and nothing happened. But if you hold back, and then rider string came out too late, but yes, you can do a ground rider thing, but you gotta stall out the air combo a little bit and stuff like that, but you can do it, and I am going to, get this on the tape. There you go. And for the record, the actual combo is light, heavy, heavy, special, and you do, that awesome rider thing. But remember, get used to holding away from your opponent when you do combos that have this option, because the no-duh of it is that when you hold forward, you're actually gonna go forward. But I really just wanted to let you know that, because I was playing with TheBee, taking my notes, and then it was like that light bulb came on, and it's like, I was trying to, because I was actually sitting trying to figure out how to do his relaunch, and then it just came to me. Just hold back, fool. And then, I held back, fool, and then all of a sudden, I can do stuff like that, and actually drop the combo on tape, because that's what we're good at here. That's the version where you actually want to use a ground rider thing. Is that it's actually better if you do a relaunch than if you can to do a ground rider thing, because it's easier for you to connect. If I was actually with the combo, thank you, game. You're being awesome right now. Defeating my input, and stuff. You do also have 6 fun options, and that's an example of also holding forward doing it, but you can juggle that really early, and there is some wicked stuff you can do off of that. If you get that juggle high enough that you're able to do some additional hits on the ground, you can do an additional rider thing. If you delay it, but I'm still having trouble trying to land it myself. But remember, kids, hold away from your opponent when doing relaunches, when it comes to launches that require that button, because some characters have neutrals and stuff like that, and you can't control that. But when it comes to characters who have an option to use away or towards your opponent, just use away. Just get into that habit. And I'm glad we spent 2 minutes on that habit, because I'm going to make sure you practice it, because that's important. Moving right along, we have this up and down light string, and it's up and down light to heavy string. This is the up and down light string, and this is the up and down heavy string. If you cancel it early enough in the corner, because that's what we do here. No. See, I'm gonna get this. I don't take notes on this stuff. Hold up, because I think I'm doing the rider cancel. Yeah, I'm doing a rider cancel. It's like you have to let the string, you have to let the game let you do the string, and then rider cancel it ASAP and such. And you can do it also a lot easier off the heavy string, so I definitely wouldn't try to, do it off the light string, because the heavy string gives you a little more leeway in doing so and stuff. So just on camera that, yeah, you can't do that, dog. Alrighty, and the other difference is, I don't believe I just forgot that. The up and down light string, that second light hits low, and that heavy as part of the light to heavy string actually hits high. So that's important, for hit properties and such. Alrighty, what we got next? We have the heavy string. This is one of the other cool strings. Is that this is something that's really good for like extended combos, but mainly that's probably what you're going to be using it for, an extended combo. Canceling that second hit into a rider thing, that's mainly what you're going to be using it for. So a combo like that will probably just end in the combo punch like that. Alright, and we have the left and right, the right heavy string, because we know what away does. We talked about that. Is that this is the heavy string now. This is that second heavy is the same as that up and down like the heavy string. It's the same punch, has the same properties and all of that, just so you know. And we have the up or down heavy chain, and this thing is awesome because has a lot of stun, but again, it's like as I try to subliminally show you that I'm just going to just put out there, is that B, other than the Rider Sting, doesn't really have a combo where he induces enough stun to like do whatever that he wants. So he pretty much has to Rider cancel into everything, except if he does a combo that ends into a Rider Sting, that he's free to do what he wants at that point. And one of the things about building combos around B is making sure that you understand that if you're going to do elongated combos, at some point a Rider Sting is going to come in, it's going to have to come in that string in order for you to land it. But with that being said, I'm going to step back because there are two more things you need to get into. Is that I've talked all this time and I still haven't showed you how B works as a summon character. Now, here is the thing about summon characters in this game anyway, is that in some cases, depending on the character in question and what they summon, is that depending on what direction you use the transformation button or the summon button, they're all, the same thing, is that they do different stuff. And I'll show you all of these examples because we have 3 of them. Pressing up when you use the summon, not the summon, the transformation gauge, depending on it, is like if you're playing on the Wii, it's the it's either analog stick, and you can change this in the options, and on the Wiimote nunchuck, it's actually the directional pad on the Wiimote, and on the PSP, it's actually the analog nunchuck, your left analog nunchuck. So I just wanted to get that out the way because I get questions about the PSP version, a version that I don't play. So I just wanted to get that out there. So with that being said, let's just get back to it. Up, it does that. They line up on all 4 sides, and they're able to do that. And as you see, because of where you stand, is that it makes a difference in how the combos come out. As you see, when you press down, see, it does more damage. You know what I'm saying? It does more hits, more damage. And if you press left or right, they do the same thing. So the thing you may be looking at and asking, it's like, well, Rex, it looks like this or that, but that's not true. Is that when it comes to actually summoning Shadow with B, is that you have to understand where you are in conjunction to where the summons actually work and where your opponent is and where you are, and it's not really that complicated as I'm trying to make it out to be. Just understand and know and practice, and just make sure that you understand that where I am is important, because as we're going to get into right now, where the Shadow Force shows up and where B is in the middle of a combo that actually uses it is key. But before we get into all of that, there is one more thing I do have to show you guys, and it's this. Is that one thing that hasn't changed from past games is that the way that you can use some engaged characters on offense. I mean on defense, I'm sorry. And okay, and I forgot to turn off meter, but turn it off. Thank you, James. As you see, even though I got my guard nice and broken, is that I just wanted to just show you that proof of concept that for 4 meters in any other situation when you are not in a combo, because when you're in a combo, it costs 2 meters to do a pseudo rider cancel summon. I don't know, I don't have like a cool name to come up with, but for 2 meters you can do a summon in the middle of a combo. This was possible in older games, but I think it cost 3 meters, and I think it was the same in Dragon Knight as well. So now that you know that you have an alternate to using a rider burst on defense, or anytime you are doing something other than in the combo, it costs you 4 meters. You can even summon a wake up, but it costs 4 meters. I just want you guys to know that, and remember that as you take a look at TheBee and any summon gauge character actually. So, and just to bring it all full circle, is that when you have the awesome power of the Shadow Force, you can do stuff like this. Okay. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Was not expecting this. Not expecting him to go to do Climax time, but let's try this one more time, without the incident. and I didn't do it right, because it's like a certain time in which you can cancel, and then, you know, and what you want to do, just like that. There's also a version where, you know, the version you should be practicing, and not the one where you actually miss the jumping normal that you need to get. At a rider stage. You can also do this. If I actually wouldn't have missed the jumping normal, which is why you should try to start with doing the jumping light version, because it becomes a lot easier to deal with. Okay, why am I pressing the rider cancel button? Somebody please tell me. Anybody out there at home want to tell me? I just pressed the rider cancel button. And you can do that, and it's a myriad of variations of stuff you can do. You also have the other version that actually uses that light screen, and this is easier to do because you can actually combo it off the stun, and which resets the stun on that combo, which makes it a lot easier to do. But you know how you actually go about it, it's up to you. Right here. This is the power of B. And stuff. And if I wouldn't have actually missed that, you know, and stuff and things. But, ladies and germs, I think that about covers the business. This is Kamen Rider TheBee, and the copy of business is awesome. However, what did we learn here today, children? Always hold away when you have the option to, when you're doing combos that either have left or right. That's important, because if you hold forward, you're going to go forward, duh. Some engaged characters are not created equal, and I just want to make sure that we go over this. Not all characters are created equal. We go over this all the time, but when it comes to the case of some engaged characters, understanding what they can do and when they can do it and how it all works is all going to become key. And as you saw with TheBee, is that learning the different versions of the shadow summon is really important in understanding of how it all works in elongated combos and such. And I think that's about it. I think that's all we learned here today. Is that just make sure to come through, take notes and stuff like that. Do I have anything else to say before we get out of here? Again, shout out to Shyweb, man. Thank you for being awesome, guys. Thank you for coming around on this game. You're the man, dog. Just wanted to say that. The other version of the B Primer, I'll try to sprinkle it in sometime through the week. I won't forget. I ain't forgot. Game is #1 dope, man. Hey, gotta serve the dope how the way the dope gets served. You know what I mean? Stuff and things. More Kirby. That's going to happen. Me and the Pink Powerpuff, we gonna do what it does, because you know we gotta save Dreamland. That's important. I will be, you know, trying to play a new game. Hopefully I can get that out sometime today. Hopefully. More members of Team Global Race Force will soon be making an appearance, and you know, me and Jay, you know, we got it on the lockdown. So you know, be ready for all of that. So you know, we got more bouncer coming, Streets of Rage coming beginning of the month, all that good stuff. So we gonna take care of you, and it's all good. So with that being said, you know who I am. I am the one and the only Triple the G.O.D. And of course, this is your other favorite YouTube show, Triple the Guy That Explains It All. And I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.